Mount Tantis hides many dark secrets within its walls, but we're getting a callback to some Clone Wars and Bad Batch Season 2 in the most recent episode that could lead to something even darker. Welcome to Star Wars Uplink. Bad Batch, man.
They're not pulling any stops here.
When they need to, they can pull the tension big time.
Yeah. Ooh, her climbing up through those walls. Ooh, there's several times where I definitely thought those robots were going to hit her.
Yes.
It's like, ah!
Watch out for the fingers.
Yeah, watch the fingers.
Every single aspect of this episode was just fueling anxiety. It's like, oh my gosh, what is going to happen next?
Yeah.
But within this episode, we get a tease at what's going to fuel the breakout. 100%. It's going to be the Zillo Beast. But I think it's interesting that we're seeing the Zillo Beast again because of its impact on Star Wars. There's a very big Clone Wars episode where the Zillo Beast of massive proportions was a big problem to be surmounted in the Clone Wars. And then in season 2 of the Bad Batch, we get it might be the same one that we see in season 2 and season 3, or it could be another one. But it really just showcases the level of experimentation that Mount Tantis has, as well as the variety that they're willing to go to just explore the various pieces of the galaxy.
Yeah, I'm really glad that we get to see more of the experimentations, because so far it's just been human-esque.
Yes.
Like, you're just thinking, oh, this is just a cloning experiments. These are just the M-count stuff. Like, actually seeing more gives Tantis so much more depth to it. It's like, oh no, this is a huge facility where so much is going on. So much that we don't even see. Like, even just the mention of the Zillo Beast, it's like, oh my gosh, what else are they actually doing here?
Yeah.
It's like nothing's off limits right now.
and it ties back into Legends because of the Legends semblance or importance that Mount Tantis has, is basically being a location that Palpatine holds many of his artifacts. And I think it's more so a place to hold artifacts than it is pure experimentation.
Sure.
But I believe in some of the locations on Mount Tantis, there were experiments held. So they're leaning much more in this being a location for deeper experimentation all across the galaxy in many different areas.
Yeah.
And I really am glad that they're doing this because of the importance that Mount Tantis has on basically the future of the Empire.
Yeah. Because
of what they're doing here, it's going to fuel the technology and the resources and everything for the foreseeable future in terms of what we see later on in the original trilogy and Rebels even, and then ultimately what we see in the Mandoverse timeline.
And it just fuels Palpatine and all of his stuff, what we see in the sequels. So,
well, yeah, it's important to realize that there's a reason that Palpatine is in the position that he's in. It's not just happenstance that he just used clones in this specific way and boom, it worked out perfectly. No, if clones didn't work, he had another backup. If this didn't work, he had another backup. So this is just showcasing even further that he would have backups upon backups to get to his end goal.
I think it shows kind of just a snippet of where Tantis is because it's under Hemlock. Like, I think because Hemlock is kind of in charge, we're seeing a lot more of the experiments. Whereas maybe if it was someone more like Thrawn who was over Tantis, it would be more of a collection, more of a hoarding of different artifacts, be it living or just part of different cultures or whatever. Like, I feel like it depends on who's running it, but that it really just puts a stamp on like what Tantis is doing on the inside.
Oh yeah, I really love how imposing Hemlock is in this episode. Not just like the fact that he's caught unawares, like he knows that Clone Force 99, the Bad Batch, got onto that ship. He realizes ahead of time that they're more than likely coming here to break out Omega. He realizes all of these things and puts into effect ways to stop them that I think is great to see. It wasn't the Bad Batch going in undercover and not being noticed until they're in Mount Tantis. It is very much this, they're going to get here. Let's put into effect ways that we can stop that damage.
Yep.
And obviously, he doesn't foresee that they would split up. I think he had theorized around that one of them might have been on the ship, but didn't realize the links that they would be willing to go to get to Omega.
Yeah.
Because that's just not how he perceives things as a very like scientific, like analytical person.
Yeah.
And now that Echo is there in the location, meeting up with Imri, I think is really going to set the standard for what this breakout's going to be, assuming that Imri doesn't turn. And goes more so into the Kaminoan side of things. Of like, hey, these are people. I'm a clone. Look what they did to Echo. If she goes into more of her humanity side, I think we're going to see this like deeper breakout and deeper betrayal that we'll see in the final episode. But like, can we just talk about how there's only one episode left?
Yeah, I am. This had better be a longer episode. Like, come on, give me at least 30 minutes. Not these 24 minutes. Come on, give me more. Oh man, how are they gonna wrap this up? It's gonna be so intense. There's gonna be guns blazing.
Yeah, this is another episode that I just felt like shouldn't have ended.
Yeah.
Like
it was way too fast.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was the same length as the last episode, which was around the same length as the one before that. But man, these last two in particular, I was just caught so unaware of like, oh my gosh, they're over already?
Yeah. This is where we're ending? What?
I do think it's very interesting that they are going right up to the final seconds of this bell ringing for them to get this accomplished. It does make me wonder where Hemlock's future is, because we didn't get a whole lot of Hemlock in any of the Bad Batch episodes.
No.
And I think that's a shame for this one, but it makes me hopeful that they're actually going to do that in the future in some form or fashion.
The fact that we only have one episode left makes me a little nervous. It doesn't give much room for resolution.
Yes.
Like, the whole episode is going to be them breaking out. If they break out, you know, like, oh,
how is this
dear.
the final season of the Bad Batch?
I don't know.
How can you say this is the last time we're going to have a Bad Batch show and you're going to do this to us on the last episode or the second to last episode, to leave so many things up in the air in terms of like what needs to happen before this season and series ends? Like, what the heck?
There's going to be so many questions left unanswered. Oh, and I'm not ready for that. Like, what about Hemlock? What about Emery? What about, how are they all going to get out? Like, oh my gosh. Palpatine.
He was in the first part of the season.
Yeah.
And we haven't seen him since. We haven't seen any more details on that. Like, there needs to be something along those lines.
Surely. Yeah. What was the M count all for? We still don't really know.
Yeah. It does make me wonder if, like, the vault that he went to originally was the one that contained the Zillo Beast because of the sounds that were in that vault. But yeah, there's so many things here that they have not and probably won't touch on in this show that almost makes me wonder of like, seriously guys, like you're gonna market this as the final season and then you're not gonna treat it like a final season?
Yeah.
Which I'm happy about on one hand, but on the other hand, it's like, come on, seriously, we're not gonna have a full resolution series.
It's painful. I mean, maybe, I don't know. I guess they're leaving a lot up for other people to maybe take on for different, I don't know. Maybe there is a Omega story cooking up somewhere.
Yeah, I hope so.
I hope so. There is so much here that
or even
needs
just
to be expounded on.
Leaning into the dark side aspect that like this year is definitely the year of the dark side, like going in and saying this is going to be an Empire story next.
Sure.
Or Echo has infiltrated, or like we haven't even seen Rex or Cody or anything on that side since they were first brought up. So there are tons of questions here. Let us know your thoughts. What are some of your theories around what's going to happen in the future? And what do you think about this idea with the Zillo Beast? Let us know in the comments below. And hey, check out our podcast. As always, may the Force be with you.